Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on May 4th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 5, 23, 28, 56, and 66. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 5 was blue, the 23 was orange, the 28 was purple, the 56 was purple, and the 66 was orange. Okay, so I'm going to color those in. So again, the 5 was blue, the 23 and 66 were orange, and the 28 and 56 were purple. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. I have 1 blue, 2 orange, and 2 purple for 3 colors total. Okay, so now I'm going to come up here. I'm going to make this 328 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And out of this 328, a three color combination has now come up 178 times. Okay, so if you do some quick math and divide 178 into 327, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to eliminate all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, okay, the blue, and whatever's left is purple. Okay, so basically what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 different colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with this the red numbers. Now the reason why there's only 3, the last 3 drawings, is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the 5, the 23, the 28, the 56, and the 66. And then the next line is 2, 29, 41, 45, 62. And then the last line is 6, 32, 35, 36, and 65. So again, I'm going to make these red numbers. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 3, and 3 is 6, and 3 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 red numbers. So up here, this tells me how many colors I have on the game card. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the orange, and I'm going to start with the 3, the 27, the 30, 63, 65, which is already taken, the 1, 15, 17, 46, 66, which is already taken, and then the 4, 17 is taken, 26, 32 is taken, so 49, And then the last row is 12, 21, 23, which is taken, 39, and 67. Okay, so again, I'm going to make these orange numbers. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 orange numbers. Okay. So now I'm going to move on to the green, and I'm going to start with this 15 here. Okay, so the 15 is taken, the 33, the 43, 59, 60, 16, 19, 25, 32 is already taken, the 49 is taken, so 21 taken, 52, 54, 64, 68, and then the next line is 16, which is taken, to 20, 37, 44, 62 is taken, and then the 24, 25 is taken, 52 is taken, 60 and 66 are taken. So the last line is 10, 14, 50, 53, and 63, which is taken. So again, I'm going to make these green numbers, and now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 3, and 2 is 5, and 3 is 8, 3 is 11, 12, 14, 16, and 3 is 19. Okay, so that's way more than 13 or 14, which I want, okay? But the thing about this is that my color code is set in stone here, okay? So just because I have more than I want, that doesn't mean that I could go back and just erase this last line and make it blue for this drawing, okay? So again, my color code is set in stone, and basically what happens is, like, this 5 will work like a caterpillar and work its way down, okay? And by doing that, all these numbers will come out even someday, okay? But right now, I'm getting a good representation of each number, okay? So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to scroll to the right just to speed things up, okay? So you can see that for this game card of May 4th, 2019, I have 15 red numbers, 15 orange, 19 green, turned out to be 10 blue numbers and 10 purple numbers, okay? So again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up, okay? So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here, okay? So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers, okay? So you can see that all 5 colors do come up, okay? But so far it's come up 12 times out of 328 drawings, okay? So it comes up, but it's very rare, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up, okay? And for me, I'm going to pick no green numbers, okay? So you can see that no green numbers came up in the last drawing here, okay? And I'm going to predict that that happens again. Now, the reason why I'm picking that is because a green has just been so hot. As you look down through all of this here, you can see that you can see a green number all the way up through, and I just think that the ebb and flow of things is that green just won't be coming up. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to eliminate all the green numbers. Okay, so just give me a second here. So what I'm going to do is block these out. So when I block out a number like this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so the thing is now, what I'm doing is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these green numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my pick and none of these green numbers come up, I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so what I like to do is get you involved with this at home. Okay, so if you could pause the video and go grab some piece of paper and draw out the game card. Okay, This is how I want you to draw it out like this. You don't even need to put in the numbers, okay? You can figure that out when you look at the card, okay? So you got 4 equal squares with 16 squares to it. Each one of these squares have 16 squares to it here, okay? And then 5 numbers off here to the left, okay? So it's 16, 16, 16, 16, which equals 64, and the 5 off to the left for 69. Okay, so as I go back, if you're going to follow me and say no green numbers will be coming up, then I want you to X out where those green numbers are, okay? So that's how I want you to use this, okay? So when you're ready, just hit the play button again, and we're going to move forward here, okay? So off to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. So basically what I did is I took all the 69 numbers and divided it into 7 different groups, okay? So I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. So basically group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9. This is the only one with 9 numbers here to it. Then the rest have 10, of course, for 69. So you get the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. All right, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these groups will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how this works and what you're looking at here, this big square right here, this is good for 5 drawings, okay? And the reason why I like to break it down into 5 is for a couple reasons. When I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count back going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a bunch of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa, okay? So that's how I look at things, all right? So what I'm looking at here, and what I'm going to go with, is I'm going to say that no numbers of this 1 through 9 are going to come up, and no numbers from the 60 to the 69 are going to come up, okay? Now the reason why I'm picking this is because you can see that a number from 1 through 9 has come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, actually 6, okay? And I'm going to talk about that in a second, okay? And over here you can see that a 60 number has come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drawings in a row. So because I hit so many drawings in a row, I just think that it's going to miss, okay? So again, I don't think any numbers of 1 through 9 are going to come up, and I don't think any numbers of 60 through 69 are going to come up. Okay, so before I X out of this, what I want you to do is look at this yourself and predict for yourself what group of numbers will not be coming up, okay? So if you need more time with that, then pause the video, okay? And make your selection. Again, we definitely know that 2 of these groups will not be coming up, okay? So what I'm doing here is, this is the last drawing. You can see it's 5, 23, 28, 56, and 66, okay? So here's the 5 right here, so I'm just going to make this blue. So this tells me that this 5 came up, and when it came up, it was a blue number, okay? And it's blue because of the color code said it was blue, okay? So now I want to count how many of these groups got hit, okay? So 1 through 9 had a hit to it. The 20 group had 2 hits to it, okay? And then the 56 and the 66 each had a hit, okay? So that's 4 groups total. Okay, so I look at this and I say, okay, you know, a 4 and a 3 seem to come up the most, okay? A 5 comes up a fair amount as well. 2 comes up once in a blue moon. And I never seen a 1 before, okay? I never seen like these teen numbers. I've never seen all 5 teen numbers come up at once, okay? I'm sure it will happen at some point, but it just hasn't happened yet, okay? So when I look at this, a 4 and a 3 come up the most, okay? So that's what I'm looking to get. Now, if I don't see a 5 in a while, then that's what I'm going to shoot for, okay? That's what I'm going to predict. But for this drawing here, I think it's going to be a 3, okay? I think that this will be a 3 right here, which means that I think 3 of these groups will have the winning Powerball numbers to it, okay? So moving on, I'm going to go back to the game card, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate those numbers that I said weren't going to come up. So that was 1 through 8. Actually, 1 through 9, okay? So I'll get rid of those numbers, and then I said all the 60 numbers, okay? So the 60's gone, 61, 62, 63, 64 is gone, 65 is over here, 66, 67, 68 is gone, and the 69, okay? So those are all the 60 numbers, okay? Now I'm going to go over these numbers off here to the left in a second, okay? But right now, this is what the game card looks like for me, all right? So if I'm correct with my picks and none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers have to be left on the game card here, okay? So kind of like, sorry about that. I missed train of thought here. So again, I'm going to move on, and I'm going to go on to the next strategy. Okay, so strategy number 3, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing, okay? So I'm going to update this here. So I'm going to make this 373. Okay, that's how many drawings I kept track of so far, and basically that goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball Lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? So with the last drawing here, the numbers were 5, 23, 28, 56, 66, so there was more even numbers than odd numbers. Okay, so again, there was 2 odd numbers and 3 evens. And now I'm going to make this 177. Okay, so it's been 177, I'm sorry, out of 373 drawings, 177 drawings have come up the majority of even numbers, okay? So you can see it's behind on the odds here, all right? So I think that for this next drawing coming up, I think it's going to be more even numbers than odd numbers, okay? So I'm going to write that down. And I want you to write down what your guess is, okay? And the reason why I'm doing that is because it helps me correctly guess what groups of numbers won't be coming up. Okay, so I just want to explain this for a second. What I like to do is break things down into 5 drawings at a time. And again, the reason why I like to do that, it helps me count backwards into the history of things, but it also shows me what the majority has been, okay? So with this last 5 drawings, you can see the majority was odd numbers, 4 drawings to 1, okay? So you can see a bunch of 4 to 1s here, okay? Most of the time it's 3 to 2, 3 drawings to 2. So I'm thinking that this next one up here will probably be 3 drawings to 2. So I'm thinking that this will be even, and then the next drawing after that will be odds, okay? But we'll see what happens, okay? So again, I'm going with even numbers, and now I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay, so this is high and low. All the numbers in blue are considered low. All the numbers in red are considered high, okay? You can see that out of all these drawings, this is neck and neck right here, okay? So as I go back through, you can see that with this 5 drawings, you can see that the low was 4 drawings to 1. Now as I go back, you can see that there was a bunch of high in a row here, okay? 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, here's another 5, 10, 15. So the thing about this here is that I think that because there was so many hits right here, I think that this is going to go back to the high side, okay? So I think more numbers are going to be to the high side than the low side, okay? So I'm going to write that down as well. Whoops. Okay, so moving on to the next one. This is left and right. Okay, so you can see the majority has been to the right side. 191 drawings and 182. Okay. So what's going to happen here? I think that more are going to go to the left side here. Okay, because as I work my way down, you can see that there was a ton of them to the right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 drawings where it's been to the majority to the right side. So I think there's going to be a couple of drawings here to the majority to the left side. So I'm picking more numbers to this left side than the right side. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. Okay, so I have one last one, and this is the red and blue here. Okay, you can see that the red has way more drawings. More than the majority of the numbers has hit this red area than this blue area. Okay, I'm kind of thinking that it's going to be to the blue, but I just don't have a good feeling about it. And this is what it's all about: is your gut feeling. So what I'm going to do is I don't have to pick at all of them. So I'm not going to pick at this one, okay? I'm just going to let this one go, okay? So, but if you see something, then by all means write it down. You can see that this red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red. So maybe there'll be more to the red side, and this red will double up here, okay? And what I mean by double up is like this over here, okay? So we'll see what happens. The next 2 drawings have to be red in order for this to have the majority of red. So we'll see what happens, okay? But again, I'm not going to pick at it, but you can if you like. The last thing I have here is this is for the Powerball number itself. Okay, this is for the red number. I do have something for it. If you get the red number correct, then you win $4. And if you add the power play, and the power play is times 5 like the last drawing, then that's $20. Okay, so it's nice to hit that Powerball number. Now how this works is there's 26 numbers, 26 red numbers. So on this column right here, basically what I did is I just divided it in 2. Okay, so if you see a blue number, that means it's low, 1 to 13. See a red number, that's high, 14 to 26, okay? And over here in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue, then that's evens, okay? So why I do that is now I just look at the colors, okay? So you can see that red, 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 red. So when's this red going to double up? So if it doubles up, and this is red right here, then that means it's going to be a high number, okay? So that means I'm not concentrating on all 26 anymore. I'm concentrating on just 13 numbers, 14 to 26, okay? And then over here, it's kind of like the same thing. Bunch of blue, then a couple red. So maybe this will be red as well, okay? So I'm thinking it could be a high odd number, okay? So now I'm just looking at like 7 numbers, okay? I'm just looking at the 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, and 25, okay? So I think that's 6 numbers, but whatever. I'm not concentrating on all 26 of them anymore, okay? So I have been picking a 9 for the last, I don't know, 10 drawings here, and the 9 just doesn't seem to want to come up. Okay, uh, but I think the last time it came up was right here. But I'm sorry, it's right here. Okay, so it's been a while since that 9 has come up, but I don't know. Looking at this, it kind of looks like it's might be a high number, and I'm thinking that it could be the 21. 21 comes up a lot for some reason. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm either going to pick the 9, keep on picking with the 9, or I might go with the 21. Okay, something that I have to think about. So for you at home, I want to explain what this green thing is right here. This means that the Powerball repeated itself. You can see the 14 came up, and then it repeated, and the 14 came right up. So that's nice when you can hit that. So again, I'm going to go with either the 9 or the 21. So I'm going to move on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 number, okay? Basically what I did is I took all the numbers and divided it into 4 different groups, and I put colors to these groups, okay? So when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers come up, I record where they land within these groups down here in the stats, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to update this. So again, the winning Powerball numbers were the 5, which is blue, the 23, which is blue, the 28, which is red, the 56 was green, and the 66 was blue. Okay, so I got 1 red number, the 28, 3 blue numbers, the 5, 23, and 66, no winning Powerball numbers in the orange area, and 1 in the green, that 56. Okay, so if there's a hit, then I color the background red for hot. Oops. Okay, and there's a miss. I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so it gives me some separation here. Okay, I'm going to make this 103, and that means that one of these blue marks have come up 103 times within this orange column here. Okay, so here's the strategy. The strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to come up. Okay, if I could have correctly guessed that none of these orange numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all those orange numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball Lottery. Okay, so I'm going to make this 14 right here, and this tells me that in the last 14 drawings, a blue number has come up. Okay, so this is all geared up for me to try to correctly guess where that 0 is going to be. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards. So this is option card number 1, option card number 2 right here. Okay, so you can see that I use all the same colors, red, blue, orange, green, for all 15 option cards. Okay, it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards with all the same colors to it. So I have a overview of this group 1. Okay, so basically what this is I'm going to point out this blue area right here. This means that with all 15 option cards, 8 of the option cards had a 0 to it in the orange areas. Okay, so let's go and count those out so you know exactly what it looks like. Okay, so here's 1, 0. Again, there was 8 of them, so there's 2 zeros. Okay, there's 3 zeros. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so you know there's always plenty of zeros, it seems like, you know, to choose from. In fact, there was 8 in that orange area. So, you know, if I could have gotten just half of those right, or even a quarter of them right, that would have been really nice. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna predict that there's gonna be a blue mark here. Okay, so what this means is that if there's 4 or less zeros among all the green areas, all 15 green areas, I color the background red for hot. Okay, if there's 5 or more zeros among a certain color group, then I color it blue for cold. Okay, so it gives me some separation. Okay, so if I can correctly guess where a blue mark is going to be, like if I say I'm thinking that it's going to be this red right here, okay, then that means in these red areas, I think there's going to be at least 5 of them out of these 15 option cards. Okay, so I'm going to concentrate on just the red areas for this drawing here. Okay, so as I look at this is where the 50-50 picks come in. Okay, so again, as I go back to the game card, I'm thinking there's going to be more high numbers and more numbers to the left. Okay, so as I'm looking at this, I want to visualize that. Okay, that at least 3 numbers are going to be over here to the left side. So that means only 2 could be over here to the right side. Okay, same with, I think at least 3 of them will be here to the higher numbers. So that means only 2 could be here to the lower numbers. Okay, so, you know, I'm thinking that maybe no red numbers will be here. Okay. Okay, so here with this option card number 2, same thing. I think more numbers are going to be over here. Okay, so what does that mean? That means if I'm going to eliminate any of these numbers, it's either going to be the orange or the green. Okay. So I'm not going to eliminate any of those numbers. I already have mine all picked out. Okay. So here's a good one with the red. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one right here. That I think the 0 is going to be right here in this red area. So that means I don't believe that any of these numbers are going to be coming up. Okay, so I want to get rid of them. And I'm going to get rid of them off of the game card. Okay, so that means the 11, 12, 13, and 15, I don't think are going to come up. So I'm going to get rid of those. Okay, so hopefully I'm correct. So I'm going to go back. And then here with 4, you can see that all 4 color groups are within these 4 big squares. So what that means is now I go to the stats of things. Okay, so you can see like this single zeros right here. Okay, sometimes they double up like over here. So maybe it will double up here in the orange and I'll get rid of all these orange numbers. Okay, but I'm not going to pick that one. I'm going to move on to number 5. Again, I think the majority of the numbers are going to be over here to the left side, so I'm either going to pick no orange or no green, and I'm not going to pick any of those, okay? So moving on to 6. Here, I'm going to pick no red numbers here, okay, for this option card number 6, okay? And the reason why is because, again, I think there's going to be more even numbers than odd numbers. And all these red numbers represent odd numbers, okay? And I think there's going to be a bunch of zeros in the red areas. So I'm going to go with this one right here. So I'm going to eliminate all these red numbers off of the game card. I'll start with the 17, the 27, the 21, 29, 23, and 31. Hopefully none of those numbers come up, okay? Because I'm going to get rid of them, all right? So moving on to the next one. Option card number 7. You can see that all 4 color groups are represented in all 4 of these big squares, okay? So that's where I kind of go down to the stats, and I see that there's 14 drawings in a row where one of these red numbers have come up. Okay, so maybe it's due to miss. So I'm going to pick this one where I think the 0 is going to miss right here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these red numbers off of the game card. So here it's the 4 corners right in the middle, the 41 and the 38. So the 4 corners, the middle, the 41 and the 38. So hopefully none of those numbers come up. Okay. And now moving on to option card number 8. Here, for some reason, you know, like over here, a 2 will follow a 2. Okay. A 1 will follow a 1. I don't know, just weird things like that will happen. Okay. So I'm going to guess that that's going to happen here. And I think the 2 will follow this 2 here. So I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these red numbers as well. So diagonal, 1 to 28, a bow tie looking thing here, the 57 and 40. Okay, so you can see there's nothing here. 30 was part of that bow tie thing. The 57, the 40, and the 45. I'll get rid of those. Okay, so hopefully none of those numbers come up. Okay, so moving on to number 9. I'm going to make a pick here for the red as well. Okay. And the reason why I'm picking this one is because a 1 that follows a 1 happens a lot. Okay, so as I go down through, you can see it here. You can see it over here on this one. Okay, right here. So right here, again, a 1 that follows a 1 just happens a lot for some reason. Okay, and I'm gonna say that that happens here as well. So I think the 0 is gonna be right here. Okay, and that will make this a 1, right? So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so it's 1, 12, 17, 28 in this pattern right here. So I'll get rid of that 32. And then it's the 57 and 34. That was on the last one. So 37 down to the 64. So I'll get rid of the 46 and the 55. And like I said, this one's already gone here. Okay. So I eliminated a bunch of numbers. So again, if I'm correct with my pick and none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers have to be still left here on the game card. Hopefully for me. Okay. So moving on to the next strategy. Actually, I'm going to keep on going because I have 15 of these option cards and I want you to eliminate things at home. Okay. So here with this option card number 10, you can see that this is a row, and what this row means is that all 4 color groups had a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so when that happens, I call that a row, and you can see that a row hasn't happened in a long time here in this option card. Okay, so I'm expecting a row here to come up pretty soon. Okay. So I want all 5 winning Powerball numbers to represent all 4 colors here on this option card number 10. Okay. So moving on to 11. If you're going to make a pick here, you know, there's a bunch of single zeros right here in this orange area. So maybe there'll be a 0 right here, which none of these orange numbers will come up. Maybe. Okay. You may want to pick that one. Here in the 12, there's a bunch of single blue marks here in the green area, so you may want to go with that green. For auction card 13, bunch of single blue marks here in the blue area, so maybe none of these blue numbers will be coming up. You may want to pick that. 14 here, you see a single row. I'm thinking that this may double up like right here, okay? There might be another row that comes right up, so I'm going to leave that one alone, okay? And then here in option card 15, the last one, again, I don't see a row here for a while, so maybe another row will pop up here, so I'm going to leave that one alone as well. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy, and that is strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, folks, we're almost getting done here. What you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers, okay? So much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups, okay? So the big difference here is that, again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is correctly guess which one of these color groups will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for this one right here, I'm going to update this. So the winning numbers from the last drawing were 5. That was purple. The 23 was gray. The 28 was green. The 56 was yellow. And the 66 was yellow. Okay. So I use all the same colors for all 15 option cards here. So you can see it's red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay. And then here in option card number 2, red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay. So again, all the same colors, but the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other, from each different option card. Okay. So because everything gets read from left to right, the red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow, that's how I want to read off my winning Powerball numbers here. Okay. So we're going to start with the green, and then the purple, and then the gray, and then 2 yellow. Okay, so as I go down here, there's no winning Powerball numbers in the red area. There's no winning Powerball numbers in the blue. There was no winning Powerball numbers in the orange. 1 in the green at 28. 1 in the purple at 5. No winning Powerball numbers in the brown. 1 in the gray at 23. And there was 2 in the yellow at 56 and 66. Okay, so how many groups got hit? I got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this green, this 4 green, because that tells me that the majority of the numbers were over here to the right side. Okay, so if I were to make it red like this 4, then the majority of the numbers will be to the left side. Okay, so the reason why I do that is because when I see a big streak of green here, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. Okay, and that's where I'm going to, if I think that most of the Powerball numbers will be over here to the left side, then I'm going to be looking to eliminate numbers over here to the right side. Okay, so moving on, what I'm going to do here is nothing. I guess I'm all set. So I'm going to move on to the next one, option card number 2. I'm sorry, I know what I was going to do. I'm going to make my prediction, okay? And my prediction is I think the 0 is going to be right here in this red area. Okay, so as I work my way up, you can see that this red got really hot here. Okay, so I guess I need to explain that, why things are red and blue. Again, I like to break things down into 5 drawings. So you can see that out of these 5 drawings, there was 3 zeros, 3 misses, and 2 hits. So 0 means that no winning Powerball numbers are here in this red area, okay? And of course, a 2 means that 2 out of these red area numbers came up, okay? So again, the majority was zeros, so I colored the background blue for cold. And you can see that the next one down, the majority was hits, so I colored the background red for hot, okay? So as I work my way down, we all know that the lottery is random, right? And this is what random looks like, okay? So when I see something like this where it's been really, really hot, well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually, because if it didn't, it wouldn't be random, okay? So again, as I make my way down, eventually I think there's going to be a long streak of blue here, okay? So that's why I'm going to pick this 0 right here, okay? So again, I don't think any of these red numbers are going to come up, so I want to get rid of them. So here you can see that there's 8 squares, but it represents 9 numbers, okay? So this 65 right here shares the square with the 25, okay? So what that means is that I keep track of numbers as a group, okay? So if I don't think any of these red numbers are going to come up, I'm going to eliminate the 25 and the 65 and all these other numbers as a group, okay? So basically that's all it is, okay? So again, I made my selection of no red numbers here, so I'm going to go to the game card and eliminate any red numbers, and you can see that they're all gone, okay? So for you at home, I want you to make your pick, okay? So I'm going to scroll down slowly for you. And again, I want you to choose where you think that 0 is going to be, okay? So we all know that there's going to be at least 3 zeros, okay? And you can see how many 4s there are, okay? So on average, there's usually 4 that have a hit, 4 of these colored groups that have a hit to it, and 4 that have a 0 to it, okay? So on average, it's like a 50-50 guess here, okay? So you could get it right, okay? So make your selection on where you think that 0 is going to be. Now, if you think it's going to be here, then that's the brown area, and you would go up and you would X out this brown area off your game card, okay? So moving on to number 2, I'm going to update this one as well. Okay, so again, it was the 5, which was red, the 23, orange, the 28, green, the 56, gray, and the 66, red. So I got 2 red, 1 orange, 1 green, 1 gray. Oh, I already did it. Okay, so basically why this is red now is because there's already 3 hits to it. Okay, so you can see that the majority is already in place here with these ones that are already colored in. Okay, so why I'm telling you all this is now I'm going to go to what I call the Group 2 overview. Okay, so this is like the Group 1 overview. Okay, so as I go back to Group 2, I want to look at what happened here in this option card number 1 for the red, blue, orange, and green. There was a 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay, I'm just going to do the red and the blue, 2 zeros here. Okay. So as I go back to the Group 2 overview, you can see that there's 2 zeros. Okay, so this represents option card number 1, and a 0 came up. Okay, so as I go back to option card number 2 here, I'm just concentrating on the red and blue. You can see that there was a 2 and a 0 in the blue area. So here you can see a 2 and a 0. Okay, so with all 15 option cards, last drawing, there was 10 hits and 5 misses in this red area. In the blue area, there was 3 hits, 12 misses, okay? And this is definitely what I like to see. This is where I like to predict that there's going to be lots of misses, okay? So I'm going to go back to Group 1 because this is where I keep the Group 2 overview. Whoops. Just went right past it here. Okay, so now I'm up to 373 drawings. Okay, and the red area had 10 hits, 5 misses, and the blue had 3 hits, 12 misses. So I'm going to write that in. Okay, so since the majority was hits, I colored this red for hot. And here in the blue, since the majority was misses, I colored the background blue for cold. Okay, so now this represents all 8 color groups here. So I look at this and I say, where is the blue mark going to be? Okay, like this right here. And for me, I think it's going to be in this purple area. Okay. So what that means is, I think out of the 15 option cards, I think at least 8 of them will have a 0 to it. Okay. So as I'm going through this, I want to keep that in the back of my mind that I'm looking at the purple areas for zeros. Okay. And for this one, I'm going to go with the 0 right here. I think the 0 is going to be here in this purple area. So I'm going to get rid of any purple numbers. Okay. Except for this one. I was thinking of something else. Okay, so as I move on here, a better one would be this 3. I think a 0 is going to be right here, okay, in this purple area. So as I go up, I get rid of these purple numbers because I don't think they're going to come up. So the 66 and 33. And you can see that those numbers are gone. Okay, so the thing about this option card number 2 is I do think some numbers will be here in this purple area, so I don't want to get rid of them. Okay, but for you at home, I want you to guess where the 0 is going to be for this option card number 2. So I'm going to scroll down slowly for you. And again, you predict where you think that 0 is going to be. Okay. What's looking pretty attractive is over here. There's been 6 drawings in a row where this red has come up. Okay. It's been pretty hot. So maybe there'll be a 0 here. Okay. And I don't believe that there's any numbers left here. No, there's not. Okay. So again, you make your decision. Okay. And if you need more time, then pause the video. And when you're ready, X out this color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 3. For me, I couldn't decide what I wanted to pick, okay, except for that purple, okay. So for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly for you. And you can see there's a bunch of red over here, okay. So maybe the 5 white winning Powerball numbers will be over here and hardly any over on this side, okay. So you may want to be looking to eliminate numbers over here, okay, on this left side. Okay, so make your decision. If you need more time, then pause the video and then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 4. I'm not going to choose from this one either, okay? But I'll scroll down for you at home. Okay, so you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then X out, then pause the video. And when you're ready, X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 5. I'm not going to pick from this one either, okay? But for you at home, I'll scroll down slowly. Certainly right here, this brown area looks pretty attractive for a 0, okay? You choose where you think that 0 is going to be. So again, we know there's going to be at least 3 of them. On average, there's 4, okay? But you could do what you want, of course. But for me, I just like to choose 1 0 and then move on to the next option card. So if I said, oh, I think there's going to be a 0 here, a 0 here, a 0 here, and a 0 here, the odds of me getting all 4 of those correct go way, way up, okay? But if I just pick 1 0, my odds are 1 to 1, 50-50, okay? So I have a really good chance of getting just one of these correct, okay? Certainly the odds go way up when I go from option card to option card, but it is what it is, okay? So X out that color group that you think will not be coming up, okay? And I'm moving on to number 6. And I'm not going to be picking from this one either. But for you at home, you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. Certainly this orange and this yellow look pretty good for a 0, okay? If you need more time, then pause the video and then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 7. I'm going to pick this purple area here. I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to eliminate any of these purple numbers, the 57, 50, 59. So I'll get rid of the 56. Okay, so for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly for you. And you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. Okay, if you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 8. I'm not going to pick from this one. But for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly. And you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. Certainly over here with the red, looks pretty attractive for a 0. Okay, so if you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 9, I'm going to pick no blue numbers here. Okay, so here's the blue. And this blue just got pretty hot through here, so I think there's going to be another 0 right here. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to eliminate those blue numbers. And that's the 227. Let's see here. Actually, I can't do that because I think the 48 is going to come up. So scratch that. I'm not going to pick from this one. I should have looked at that first before I opened my mouth here. But for you at home, you choose where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then X out the game card. X out that color group when you're ready. Okay, so moving on to number 10. I'm not going to pick from this one either. But for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly. Certainly this gray looks pretty good for a 0. Okay, if you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to 11. I'm not going to pick from this one either. If you're wondering where I'm going to pick from the 13, 14, and 15 of the purple numbers. So for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly. You decide where you think that 0 is going to be. Certainly this red looks pretty attractive for a 0. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to number 12. I'm not going to pick from this one either, but for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly. You decide where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then X out, then pause the video, and then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so here's where I'm going to make my picks. Okay, again, I think there's going to be lots of purple numbers that are going to miss, and I think it's going to be on this 13, 14, and 15 mark. Okay, so let's take a look at this purple. You see it's been really, really hot, and now I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to eliminate those purple numbers, and that's the 17 and the 69. So I'll get rid of the 26. Okay, so for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly here for you. And you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so moving on to 14. Again, I'm going to go with purple, so we'll take a look at it. So as I scroll down, again, I think the 0 is going to be right here. So we'll see what happens. And I'm going to eliminate the purple numbers, which is these two middle squares here. So I'll get rid of the 42 and the 51. Okay, so for you at home, I'm going to scroll down slowly here for you. Okay, and you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so last one, moving on to 15. Again, I'm going to go with the purple. As I scroll down through, see that thing's got pretty hot down through here, so I think the 0 is going to be right here. So we'll see what happens. And I'm going to get rid of these purple numbers right here, okay? And the 58 shares the square with the 68, so I'm going to get rid of that. And that leads me to my, what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? The 18, 35, 36, 47, and 48, okay? So again, I thought the majority of the numbers will be even, so the 18, 36, and 48 will make that happen. I thought the majority of the numbers will be to this high side, so you can see that there's 4 of them. And I thought that the majority of the numbers will be to the left side, which they are, okay? So it turns out the majority would be to the red area, okay? And we'll see what happens, okay? So for you at home, you got one more to do. So I'm going to scroll down slowly here for you. And you decide where you think that 0 is going to be. If you need more time, then pause the video. And then X out that color group off your game card. Okay, so again, the numbers that I'm going to go with, I'm going to write these in. Okay, the 18, 35, 36, 47, and 48. Okay. So we'll see what happens, okay? So, you know, with all those groups of numbers that I choose from, what are the odds of me getting them all correct? The odds are pretty high. Okay, so let's go over the odds for a second. All right, so to get the grand prize, all 5 white balls and a red ball, the odds are 1 in 292 million that you'll get that correct. Okay, this is my goal, to get all 5 white balls correct. If I get the grand prize, then bonus, right? But to do that, the odds are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay, so by reducing the numbers down, maybe I could reduce those odds down as well. Okay, a really nice prize is 4 white balls and a red ball that pays 50,000 plus the power play, whatever that is, 2, 3, 4, or 5. The odds of that are just about 1 in a million. Okay, more realistic odds, getting all 4 white balls correct pays $100. Okay, 1 in 14,000. And 3 white balls pays $7 plus the power play. And if you just get the red ball itself, that pays $4. Okay, so you can see what the odds are so high that you should play responsibly. Okay, I just want to let you know that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week. That will equal $312 that you spend on the lottery per year. Okay, so in closing, I want to thank you for watching. Okay, if you'd like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Okay, and as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.